we go, right, Jim?
You're ready.
So, welcome to ReneMarie Stroke of Luck. I'm ReneMarie, and we had a wonderful show. The first show really was perfect. It was perfect. It spoke about brain injuries. Judy did a phenomenal job, as always, setting it up. Dr. Dina was on. She was connected to Patty Foster, who had a car injury, a brain injury from her car, and it just tied really into the sad, the joyful, the sad and the joyful Marion Silva story. Um, the just the joyful because of the faith and the trust in God that in Jesus that her family has and they have to have right now. Um, but today this show is about Brook Allen, and I'm going to let Judy give Brooke's story. Because Judy is, of course, the one that booked her and found her, and she's got such a phenomenal, inspiring story of hope that everybody can come back um, from a stroke. So, Judy, take it away.
I'd say hope and great achievement.
Great achievement. That's right.
Brooke Allen suffered her stroke at the age of 38 on September 4th, 2018. Her immediate symptoms were a horrible stomach pain, and she went to the hospital ER, and they told her they thought it was kidney stones. Later that day, her speech became garbled. She went to bed for a while and woke to go to the bathroom, and she fell down. Could not scream to her husband for help, and her leg was unable to move. Her husband, Dan, heard her fall and discovered she was having a stroke, and he called 911. Brooke will discuss her time in the hospital, her 5 weeks of rehab, including occupational, physical, and speech therapies, and her amazing recovery. 3 years have passed, and Brook Allen is a volunteer as a social ambassador for the American Heart Association and help with the Stroke Heart Walk and the Women's Go Red. She attends stroke meetings once a month in Boise and leads a once a month session in Nampa. Brooke meets with Aphasia Warriors every Wednesday at the Idaho Aphasia Center. During spring, summer, fall semester, she goes to ISU to help with students with aphasia. Brooke participates in virtual connection classes on Zoom that are free with poems, aphasia, choir, and book clubs. Every Monday, she is involved in the International Aphasia Movement and has also met once with the Aphasia Association. She's proud to announce she is the secretary of her She's proud to announce she is the secretary of her local Toastmasters. Brooke is really into being healthy and goes to the gym on a regular basis. She recently was awarded a Lifestyle Change Award from the American Heart Association, and it's our pleasure to bring to you today Brook Allen to share her story, her amazing story.
Thank you for joining us today, Brooke.
Thank you so much. You guys are, I'm so honored to be here so much. So thank you.
And thank you for joining us. I know you're very active and you're busy, and we're honored to have you as a part of our show. So I got to start with the Aphasia Warrior. That's what I named this show, Aphasia Warrior, because we know that I suffered from aphasia when I had my stroke. So I know the challenges to be able to understand and to be able to speak. And I know that the frustration does not help in the process, right? Because the more you get frustrated, then your brain gets more scrambled and you're unable to speak or think clearly. So let's talk about the aphasia part of it.
Okay.
And then we'll get into your story. But I really think that that's really important to touch on. So
Right.
tell us about, this Aphasia Warrior group that you're on.
Well, I tried to do a lot because my husband and I, we didn't know what aphasia even meant. When the doctors told us that I have aphasia, we're like, what is that? So we had to do a lot of research to see what it is. And a lot of that was, I looked on Facebook and I found so many people that have aphasia. And so I was able to connect with them and get together and share our stories. And there is so many things on Facebook and social media that will help you with it. And a lot of it is free. You just have to know where to look at.
And where did you get this? Because that's something that I'm trying to help people to understand. Like,
right.
Some people like yourself are driven, right? And you're determined, like Judy used, and was a determination that you used in the last show, right? Determination. But if you don't have that drive and determination, how did you find that? Like, I think that's really important to help our fellow Aphasian family members to understand and to transition very slowly into knowing the tools that you have to use. So can you share with me what was in you that got you to look? I mean, what was in you?
Well, I think I always have done this my whole life. I always want to be the best with my job and with sports and everything. And, I was sitting there and I'm a mom. And I was like, you know what? I need to get over this. I can't sit here and be, oh, poor me. I need to be here for my kids. And my husband is an amazing man, but I need to be there for them. It's like, I need to get up and I can do this. I've done this stuff before, but so I think it was that it was me being a mom and a wife that I need to get up and get going. It really is where it came from.
And the other side is like, we should have thought about this sooner, but maybe we'll do this again with your husband. Like,
oh yeah,
how did he has to be such a loving, compassionate, empathetic, strong individual to help you, to give you what you needed, and to allow you the freedom to figure it out yourself. So talk about that. Like, how important was that?
Tell us about Dan.
Oh, Dan, he is the man.
Dan the man.
Yeah. There was times when I first had my stroke, he was like, oh my goodness, how are we going to get through this? But he has been there from day one, and he has helped me through everything that I've done. He would take me to my therapy, and if he couldn't, he would have someone take me, because I couldn't drive for a while.
Right.
He did so much, because before my stroke, I did everything. Like, I paid the bills, I would do everything with the kids, and he really had to step up. And he knew what he needed to do, but it's kind of different when I was always there. But he did everything. He was able to take with the kids. He's amazing. That was like just fine for him. But to do everything and help me, I don't know how he did that. But he just is my rock, and he's an amazing husband. He's my best friend, and I love him a lot.
Really good. That's really good. So, so let's go into your story. Where were you?
Okay.
Had it like let's share with us if you don't mind, your
Right.
story.
Well, the day of my stroke, I was taking my husband actually to the doctor because he has really bad back problems, and they were going to give him a shot in his back. And on the way there, I was like, oh my goodness, there was something inside of me, and I felt like it was not good. I was like, I don't feel good. He's like, well, just take me to the doctor and go to the hospital. And I was like, okay. So I went in and took him there and went to the hospital. And they're like, oh, you have kidney stones. I was like, oh my goodness. And I'll tell you what, I would never, ever, my worst enemy, I would never want them to have kidney stones. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they gave me some medicine, and they told me, you know what, it will pass, just go home. And I was like, okay. So we went home, and I just went to bed because I'm not really good with pills at all anyways. And a little bit later, I came out and I was talking to my husband, and he's like, you kind of sound like you're drunk. I go, I think it's from the pills. And I think that was the time that I was having my stroke, and we didn't know. So I was like, I'll just go back to bed. And then a little bit later, I had to go to the bathroom, and I got up to go to the bathroom, and I fell down, and I couldn't move my leg or my arm. And it was like when you're in a dream and you want to holler out to someone and you can't. Right. And I was like, what is going on here? And
but you could comprehend.
Yeah.
Like you could comprehend like what's going on. Like I don't understand what's going on. And why isn't it like, why can't I talk? Like that's amazing.
Yeah, I was like, I bet it's those stupid pills, and and my husband, he heard me fall, and he came in the room, and he knew that I had a stroke. And
how did he know?
My husband, when he was younger, he worked at the hospital. He was a what are they called? He was a nurse assistant.
Oh wow.
So he knew that I was not, he told me he knew I was having a stroke. So he called 911, and he wanted them to take me to Boise, and that's about 25 miles away from our house on the freeway. But I think it was good that they took me to Boise because we went to St. Al's, and they were amazing. They were the stroke team. They got me in. They couldn't give me the shot because it had, but they were really good. And then I don't really remember the first 2 days.
Can I interrupt you I just want to interrupt you for 1 second, because I think this is a really important pinpoint moment that your husband probably told the ambulance that you were suffering a stroke.
Right.
Correct?
Yes.
Because then that's one of the things that we always say, that fast
Yep.
document, you know, the face, the arms, the the smile, the time. But
Right.
then we always, my foundation always adds on that there's another piece to that. That when you
Defect.
call the ambulance, to let them know it could possibly
Right.
be a stroke, because then they get into stroke mode, and
Right.
and they don't, and they know what to kind of look for and determine that, and then they call the hospital and they pass triage in the hospital, and you go right in for the necessary CAT scan because time is of the essence. So I just wanted
Right.
to make sure that not those of us that suffered strokes, but the rest of the world knows the importance of knowing those signs and knowing that they need to let the ambulance know. So your husband did
Right.
a great service to you by letting them know that.
Right. Yeah. And like, even when they came in the house, they knew I was having a stroke, and because we live, there's a lot of stairs that are upstairs, or you know, so they had to help a lot with that. So they were good with that. So yes, that is a really good thing that you should tell people.
Yeah,
Yes.
But it's one of the,
Sorry.
no, that's okay, because you know, and I got to tell you, you're doing a phenomenal job with your speaking, because I can see, and this is something that by experience I know, that you really need to take your time and articulate so that you could process and think and speak exactly what you want. So you're doing such a great
I
job
agree.
in that, you know.
Well, thank you.
Is
You have
that
to.
part of the Aphasia Warrior? Do you work on that with the Aphasia Warriors?
Yes. Well, you know, I think the one thing that you have to do every day is you have to practice, practice, practice. So I have like, I just have to go through my words that I want to do. Like, if I have a word that I can't get out, I'll write it on a piece of paper, and I'll put it on my board, and then I can go through it all the time. And I think that's the one thing you have to do. You know, it's just like when you go to therapy with your leg or your arm.
Right.
You also have to do it with speech all the time. So
Right.
yes, it's every day, every
Right.
day.
Right. And you're very what's the word I'm looking, dedicated to your recovery, you know.
Oh,
So
right.
and I think, do you ever speak to families that have had strokes? Do you ever like, so that to give them hope?
I really want to. I've been talking to at the hospital that I do stroke meetings. This last year, we haven't really been able to do anything. I did put last year I did a sorry. There was a group of us that have aphasia from virtual connections, and we partnered with some students from Michigan, and we told our stories, and we put it on what are they called?
Is it something?
Podcasts?
Is it something physical, or on a piece of notepad, or
We did it on the
computer?
computer, and it's a
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint. And then when you can talk to people, and it will talk, it will have your story. So I have that, and I'm trying to get in with the hospital and see if I can do that when new stroke survivors come in and play that, and hopefully one of these days I'll be able to go into the rehab and talk about my story. So we have it, we're almost there. So we're trying.
I gotta share with you, and once again, it's a perfect segue, because on our last show, and we've been working with the hospital and Dr. Beculus in Long Island to actually support families in the ER when their families members have suffered, a family or friend or loved one has suffered a stroke. So we would love to add you to our list of people, the contacts.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And you know what else, Judy, I'm thinking right now? I'm thinking aside from, Judy's got her pen, I see her, but I think aside from doing, what's it called? Doing face, because since we can't go into hospitals, but we can always FaceTime with them. We can always support them. But I also think we should come up with video clips that the hospital can show to them. So we're going to set up making video clips, and we'll stay very mainstream so the hospital doesn't have to worry about liability, because if you give the wrong prognosis or you give the wrong hope,
Right.
the hospital could be liable. They have to really be careful. So we'll work with a hospital team to make sure that these are the questions and this is the information that can be passed on. But we would love to have you on our team with that.
I would love to do that. Anything that can help anyone out there, I would love to do that.
Perfect. Thank you. We're so gifted. We're really blessed.
Good.
That's very good. So back to your story, you said 2 days, you were on 2 days. What happened after that 2 days?
Well, I don't really remember that 2 days. My mom said that I was screaming a lot because I had to pass those kidney stones.
Oh, wow.
And they had to take me off the medicine. So I don't really remember that a whole bunch. So I guess I'm kind of glad that I don't remember that.
That's so funny because I was out of it for 1 week. I was out of it. It happened on a Saturday, and I think I believe I woke up like the next Friday or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And they said that I was young, the same thing. I was young, and I didn't have kidney stones, so I don't know what my problem was.
Right.
I was honestly, they said I would throw people out of my room. I don't remember any of this.
I can't even picture it.
I don't even remember any of this, but they'd say I could throw people out of my room. But like the doctor just said prior, it wasn't like me. It was just this I don't know what it is. It's just you're not yourself.
Your brain is scrambled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why, like she also said, and we've had somebody on our shows that cry for unknown reasons. They just start to cry, So it's pretty amazing. I guess the lesson from that would just to be empathetic to people. When they're yelling or screaming or they're doing stuff, or the doctor was talking about somebody swearing, that those swear words come out for they're not, don't mean to say it, they're just coming out,
Right. And they're so easier to say them. Just say
unfiltered.
Yes, I think they were so easier for me to say. Yeah, it was funny. Like, yes.
So okay, so you got through 2 days and you passed your kidney stones?
Yes, I
can't believe you were going through your kidney stones as you were having a stroke. Oh my God.
Right. And so then they told us that, again, I had a stroke, and it affected my right side, and I have aphasia. And again, we didn't know what aphasia was. My husband actually was able to go to a stroke meeting in the hospital that day that they told me that I have aphasia, and he was able to talk to other stroke survivors that had aphasia, and was able to kind of but was able to, I guess, he was able to get awareness for aphasia that day. And then he did a lot of looking on Facebook, and my mom, my mom was all over the place. She wanted to know everything about it, and she was on it. So I think my mom and my husband were my
Rocks.
yes, they were my they were the ones that were seeing what could we do with it. So that was probably the most important thing, was having people that could help you with, yes, that's the word I was looking for, because you really need that. And the first week, all I could say was no. And it would make my husband so crazy, because he would be, you want something to eat? And I would say no. But really I was like, yeah, I would like something, So that was kind of, that first week was crazy. And my husband was like, I didn't know if I was ever going to say anything ever again. And he really had a hard time, because he's like, he didn't know if he had to put me in a nursing home or what was going to happen with us. So after that first week, I was able to say little worse stuff. I was able to say my son's name really fast. I think it's because I always am yelling at him.
Right, so it actually goes right back to the preparation in your life. You need to prepare in your life, right? You need to practice, practice. Just like my stroke happened on a softball field. I was an avid softball player,
Right.
and because of that, I mean, when I had to throw those bean bags I just like nailed every single one, because it just came back to me. It was like something that I've done all my life and always did it well. And just, it was like riding a bike. You just get back on the bike and you know how to ride. And you may twist and turn a few times initially, but you can do it eventually. Right. So that's pretty amazing.
Yep. Yeah. And then with my daughter, it took me about.
What are your children's names?
My son, his name is Cohen.
How old is he?
He is 15.
Wow.
And then my daughter, it took me 6 months to say her name. So I would call her Girl. She would get so mad at that. But her name is Jessica. It was the S's and the J's that took me the longest to get out. So
how old is Jessica?
She is 12.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So
wow. So they were 9 and 12 going through.
Yes.
That's got to be devastating for them.
Yes. And you know what? My kids, oh my goodness, I'll tell you what, they are just amazing little people. Well, they're not little people anymore, but they are just, with them going through my my stroke and my aphasia, they are just amazing kids. And I'll tell you, they're just awesome. And my husband wanted the kids to know about brain injuries and what aphasia was. So he told them they had to do a book report. And my son, he's so funny. He's like, you know what, Mom? I was reading stuff, and it says that since you have aphasia, you are more likely to have Alzheimer's. So we probably need to take more pictures. So I'm like, whatever, kid.
That's funny. I would love for your children, if they're willing, to give a testimony as well.
Oh yeah,
That would be
Yeah,
wonderful.
it'd be wonderful for you and your family to give it together, you know.
okay.
That would be
I'll see.
awesome.
I can see what they would like to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could videotape it
Oh yeah.
and send it to Renee, we'll use it on
Okay.
the telethon.
Or we can come onto Zoom and videotape it the way I
Or we
for
could
you
do it
guys.
that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 I'll see what I can get out
Yeah.
of them, because you know they are teenagers now too.
I know.
Well,
I
they
got-
could be famous teenagers.
Right?
They could be teenagers known all around the world, tell them.
Right. I'll
Because
have to
this is
tell them
going
that.
around the world.
I'll
I
have to tell them that. I love it.
Yeah,
Movie stars while they're teenagers. How about
What-
that?
what-
You're giving them their first start at stardom.
Yeah.
There you go.
And what is their, like, what are they like? Like, what do they both like to do?
Well, my son, he has a job this summer, so he and he got his driver's license.
Wow.
And,
How old is he? 16?
He's 15, and
15?
he'll be 16 in December
Where do you live?
in Idaho.
Idaho. Okay.
Yes, you can start driving when you're 14 and a half.
Oh my
you can
God.
go through driver's ed, and then he can drive when he's 15, but they can't drive at night until he's 16.
Thank
So,
God.
Yeah, right out. That was
in the country hillside, you can't see anything, you know?
right. It was really interesting to have, because he had to drive with someone for 50 hours, and it was me because my husband was at work. And I was like, oh my goodness, ever since times I was like, oh, he might
Oh my
kill
God.
me. But
Oh my
he's
God.
good. But my son, he has drums in the basement. He has his own set of drums. I think he's really good, but I'm the mom, so you know. And then my daughter, this is gonna be her first year that she'll be able to do volleyball. So she's really excited she's done it before, but they only do it in 7th grade. So this is really cool for her, you know.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So they're good kids.
And what does your husband do for a living?
My husband is he is a manager at a mechanic shop. Is a little bit in Homedale, is about 20 miles to Oregon is where he is. And he's been doing that forever. You know, he's always been into cars. And actually today he's at he races a truck at our local speed way here in Idaho. So he's out there doing what he loves to do. So
Wow, that's awesome.
likes to go fast.
That's
So
awesome. That's
yes.
awesome. I admire the way that you're processing. I
Oh,
really do.
thank you.
I want to keep pointing that out because I want those that suffer from aphasia, not suffer, or challenged. Let's say challenged rather than suffer.
Right.
We're not suffering. We're challenged, and we can accomplish. We can conquer it. With most aphasia situations, you can always improve yourself. But I think it's really important for them to see your calm manner, to see it's true, because I don't know if you've spoken to many, and you probably have spoken to many people that have aphasia, but like I said initially, sometimes you get frustrated when you can't think of that word, and then you get tense, and that tenseness actually hinders your ability to process and to think clearly. So
Right.
I love the fact that you are taking your time, and you're trusting that you will think about it, and you will process it, and you will accomplish it. That's such a gift. You have no idea. That is really a gift, and that's really one of the things that you should shine with. You are shining with.
Well, thank you. You know, and I got that from one of the students that I go to at ISU. It's called, she wants me, it's called 7 seconds. So when I can't get a word out, I have to take 6 seconds to just breathe, and then I can say it. So that's been something that they have helped me a lot with. Another one that I think would be really good with anyone that has aphasia, you need to have rules. And I have a rule with my kids and my husband that they have to give me 3, like if I can't get a word out, they have to let me try to say that word 3 times before they can tell me what they're gonna say. Because when I got home, the kids would always tell me, oh, you're gonna say this. It's like, stop, I need to say that, you know? So it's been hard to do that, but once we got that in their brains, that they have to give me some time to get the word out, it helps so much. And I think I do it with my friends too. Some of them it's kind of hard because I have one friend that she knows she's always going like this, and I'll have to say, and she's from New York, so she like is going on and on. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, stop. So, but I think once you get that out there, it will make you feel so much better that you can say your own words. And I think it's good for your friends and family too.
Yeah, absolutely. Because well, first of all, they have no idea what the life is going to be like you said before. So they don't know what recovery you're going to make. They don't know what they should do. They don't know. So that really is a good tool that you're learning. Where did you learn the 7 seconds? Where did you learn that?
Well, I go to ISU, and what that is Idaho State University, and that's a college here in Idaho. And what they do is in the summers and then in the spring and fall, I will be partnered up with a speech student that wants to be a speech therapist, and I'm kind of like their guinea pig.
Yeah.
but we're able to do stuff with aphasia, and then we also have groups with other aphasia people that we meet, and it helps the students and it helps us too. And then you don't have to go to it's so expensive to go to speech therapy, and I can do from this for the whole spring from no, it's from August to November, $200, you know, and that's so much better than, because sometimes it can be what, $50 every time you go to, and so it's helping me, them too. So
That's awesome.
I don't know.
So the reason I'm asking is maybe Judy could contact them.
Oh
and we
yeah,
could
they
do-
would love to.
We could do a show about the 7-second
Could you
rule.
email me the information?
Yeah, I can do that. Yep.
And then, of course, Brooke, you'll come back on the show. 'cause
Definitely.
I really think that is an important piece. Like, I mean, that really, I've been trying to, you know, link the trauma to the understanding, you know, of how we get there. And that's a really important key to helping to navigate through that, because it gives you a few seconds. And not only do what I hear you saying is, not only did you have to give yourself that embracement, but you also had to, your family and supporters around you also had to be aware of that. I don't think, and I've been in the industry for a long time, I've never heard that before, that,
Right.
that someone has that in their tool belt like never before. So I think, I mean, maybe they do, maybe it's just we never spoke about it, but I don't know. But we're going to find out in
Right.
investigating it. And the other thing is, another piece that we could talk to them about is this program that they have.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's almost like, I know in town we have a hairdresser, you know, you learn to be a hairdresser, and you could go in there to get your hair done for $20 because they're practicing on you.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's the same thing. So my thought process on that, Judy, is, do other hospitals that are around the country have that? I mean, maybe it's something we could put out as a memo to everybody that needs continuing speech therapy after their insurance has run out. This is just another tool that they could possibly look into. So
Yeah.
that's my thought on it.
I think there's a lot out there. I know that Michigan does it. I think I have told people that if there's a college in your area, look and see if they have that, because I think there's more out there than we think. It's the same with the International Aphasia Movement. That is in New York. And one of my friends, Judy, you know him, Dennis. He got
Dennis Sheehan.
Yes, he got me onto this, and is every other Monday is on Zoom, and there's people from New York to California, and we talk about, there's classes that you can go into and they're free, and I do it for it's from 4:30 to 6, and I do speak and words. They have games, they do books, and is you just have to look for stuff.
Right.
And I have a whole thing that I made up for the hospitals about who I've talked to, and where you can see all these new things that you can get for free or with ISU, and I'll put you guys' names on there too, so there's more that they are able to know about aphasia.
That's great. Any information you can email me, I
Yeah.
will work on immediately.
Okay,
Yeah, and
I can do that too.
Yeah. And then, you know, even this aphasia movement, you know, we should contact them to ask them if they want to be a part of the show. We can always,
yeah.
we can always do a 2-hour show if they're available. You know, we can have a 2-hour show, so we're not cutting people short. But I really want to have like everybody having a conversation about it, because it really is an important, that's because aphasia, Brooke will probably agree with me, aphasia is like a new, it's not new because people have always suffered from aphasia when they've suffered strokes, but it is new concept, and it's growing every day, and there's a lot of movement with it. So I want to put as much information out as we can about aphasia, because I think it's a silent effect of a brain injury or stroke. People think, you know, they have a brain injury or stroke and, you know, they can't move their body, but the truth is that you can't see the brain. You don't know what's happening inside their brain, and you don't know the challenges and the emotions. I mean, not only are we talking about not being able to speak or not being able to process or have challenges doing that, but there's challenge with emotions too. I mean, so many different emotions come up that you don't have any control over. So we want to tap into that. It's almost like depression, or, you know, you can go through depression when you've had it. Did you ever suffer from any depression? I did, unknowingly. Unknowingly.
Right.
I mean, I had no idea. My sister was like, you have to go to a therapist. And I'm like, why? And she's like, because you have a, I don't know if she called it depression, but she saw something in me. And the only way that I went was she found one in town that is a therapist through prayer. So I was like, oh, I'll go pray. You know, I mean, that I like. You know,
I can do.
So yes, I can do that. So you know, I actually went and I loved it. It was so powerful. We prayed for how the session was going to go. And then at the end, we prayed for thanking everybody and thanking God. And I mean, it was so powerful for me to have that. And I actually go every year as a refresher, you know, and, you know, she sits there, she asks me, she goes, you're okay, goodbye, you know, like, but at least I have her and I keep her in the loop. But it's been at least 20, 25 years that I've been using the same, same practice. So, you know, they're in my tool belt.
You have to have that, you know, and I thought it took me a while to know that I needed to do something else too, because I would get there was times I would get so mad, and then I was only being mad to my husband, and he's my rock, and I was just being just mean and ugly to him. And he was like, something's not right. You need to do something about this. And I didn't do anything for about 2 years. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to go talk to the doctor. And I told him, he's like, really? You told me you were fine? I go, yeah, I guess I'm not. And we were able to work on that and understand that I had some emotions that I could not control. And we got on that, and now I feel so much better. And my husband, he can tell me since I talked to the doctor, I have turned around a lot. And, you know, I did have to get some pills to deal with my emotions, but it is what it is, you know. So
yeah, you know, I don't take medicine either.
Right.
But I got hit by a car at the hospital one time.
Oh my goodness.
And because I injured my knee, I herniated 2 discs in my back because I couldn't walk straight. Like it was just
Right.
anyway. So I was in a shambles. Anyway, I had to go on pain medicine. I had to get level,
Right.
let's get level and then figure out moving forward. But they had to balance me and level me off and get me out of the pain because I was in such excruciating pain. I was crying. I was devastated. I just couldn't even move. So sometimes you gotta, with the
Right.
guidance of the doctors, you have to be able to strategize and come up with an action plan.
Right. You're
so-
right.
So do you still take the prescription or the medicine to help you with balancing yourself?
I do right now. So yes, I have to do that. And I do a lot of vitamins too. And before so that helps too. And then with my what I'm eating helps as is good too, because before my stroke I was overweight, and I was a smoker, and I would have at least probably at least 5 or 6 cups of coffee a day, and then I would have energy drinks too. So after my stroke, I had to get healthier. So I don't, I think I've had like 1 or no, maybe 3 pops in 3 years. I don't take any caffeine, and I try to have a healthier lifestyle. And I think that has helped me a lot too.
So Judy, that's another show we can do with Brooke, is talking about lifestyle, talking about the whole, you're not just, working on your stroke, you're working on your whole body, you're working on your
Right.
mind, you're working on your eating habits. And, we can even call it lifestyle change. Like, how do you get a lifestyle change? And we could put memos out. And if you know of anybody else that has done that, then let Judy know. They can come on the show. We can just share it with everybody. It's all about sharing the story
Right.
and what you do. And we didn't even get into, and we don't have time because we have to
Sorry.
roll out, but we didn't even get into what the stroke was. I mean,
Right.
briefly, because we have
Kind
to
of
go.
stroke it was?
What kind of,
It was a no,
Ischemic?
yes, that's a hard one for me to say.
that's okay.
They say that, well, I was also on, so I was a smoker and I was on birth control, and they my doctor told me, when you're 35 and if you're still smoking, we need to get something else besides birth control. I was like, whatever, and they can't tell me that is why, but they can say that is
It could have been a factor.
yes, is a big factor,
Yeah.
that is what caused it. And then I was my work, I was really stressed out. I worked about 6 days a week, and it was in the mornings until night, and I was in charge of a lot of people, and a lot of merchandise was I had to be in charge of it. I love my job. It was at Macy's. I was there for 18 years, but it was really stressful being a manager.
Wow.
So
Wow, Brooke, we've had so many
I
conversations,
know.
and you're really a light. You're a light. I look at you as a light of shining. You're shining your light, and there's so many continuing shows that I would love and Judy would love for you to be a part of, because it really is important stuff. One of the other ones, Judy, is smoking
Yeah.
and
Oh,
birth
yeah.
control.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Smoking with birth control. Like, we're not going to state anything, but we're just going to, so maybe we can have a doctor come on, maybe Dr. Beculus can come on and talk about that. And we can also talk to Dr. Beculus about the support group that we want to
Right.
start. But we're not going to say goodbye. We're going to say, continuing, because there's so many wonderful things, and you really are, oh my gosh, we're so blessed to have connected with you. Thank you so much, Judy. You always do a great job. You always do a
She
great
does.
job. Jim, do you want to hop on for 2 seconds really quick and talk about the coupons, so we have that on our show?
Hey, Renee, you know what I was thinking? Maybe I could play that little commercial.
Yes, absolutely.
That'd be
So
perfect.
roll it in though. Say what it
Okay.
is.
So basically, I have this. I've been in marketing for a long time, and I have this coupon site, which is on your phone. So the coupon booklets that come in the mail, instead of getting in the mail, you get on your phone. So there's no leaving it at home. There's no cutting it out and carrying a little piece of paper with you, embarrassing. So you could be at a fancy restaurant, you just break out your phone, you go bing, and you get your coupon. So one of my other friends, another show, 2 for the show, gentleman Ken made this little commercial for me. So I think I'll play that because it's kind of
Fun.
neat. I like it.
It's fun.
So here it is.
Okay.
For the customers, a great way to save hundreds of dollars. Be a part of the latest and most innovative way to promote your business just for showing your phone. Get the attention your business deserves. It's Village Coupons. All across the United States, any business in any city can offer this outstanding deal to their consumers. It's simple. Either go to the store or go online and present a coupon and receive outstanding savings on everything from fashion to fitness, from pets to propane and health to home furnishings. This progressive web app is search engine optimized, social media friendly, gives you the ability to call the customer from the coupon, and gives the customer a map to easily find your location. It also provides a link to your business site, a shelf life of 24/7, 365, daily emails and shares, and there are no boundaries. So, what more could you ask? The annual subscription is very reasonable, and a substantial discount is available for the first 50 businesses per town. So, don't miss out on this fantastic way to promote your business to the next level. What are you waiting for? It's Village Coupons. Contact Jim Savali at Village Coupons. Call him 631-988-5465 or email him inthevillagemedia@gmail.com. Get the attention that your business deserves with Village Coupons.
See, you can't say it any better than that, right?
That's
That's
what a
great.
voice.
And the music
What
and
a
everything,
voice.
it was great.
He's got a great showmanship voice.
So, along back to the coupons, we teamed up with Renee and Stroke of Luck, where they will be selling coupons for us wherever, in Jersey possibly, in Long Island, and a portion of the proceeds will go to the charity. So I thought that's great.
It's Stroke of Luck, but it's ReneMarie's Language of Love.
Right.
So if anybody wants to check us out, ReneMarie'sLanguageofLove.org. So we're so happy, Jim.
Thank you.
We're partnering with you, and we're really blessed. So thank you so much.
Exciting.
Woo! So like I said before, thank you, Judy. Thank you, Jim, back in the studio. Brooke, we're not saying bye. We're just saying until next time. Ciao.
Good.
We're really happy to have welcome to our family. Welcome
Well,
to
thank
our
you
family.
so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Is there anything that you want to end with by saying, or?
I would just, the one thing I think I would tell people, that recovery is possible, And remember that aphasia will not stop you guys. You just have to get up and do it every day. And I'm always, if anyone ever wants to talk to me or anything, just let me know. And I know that we're all into this together. So thank you so much. I'm really honored to be here. I think Judy is amazing. And
I agree.
Renee, you're awesome too. So there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I one thing that was coming to me is, you know, one of the things when I was back in a state, you know, of depression, or, you know, I kept moving. I always learned another tool belt piece was to just get up and keep moving. Don't stay still. Just get up and keep moving. I mean, you do need to reflect. You do need to meditate. You do need to have downtime. But for the most part, you just need to get up and keep moving. That's the only way you're going to have change. It's the only way you're going to meet people. It's the only way you're going to find. It's the only way you're going to be able to change your life is by getting up and keep moving down that road. So,
yep, you are so right. Yep.
Yep. So thank you so much, Brooke. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. We're going to blow it. Jim, you want to come on and blow kisses with us? You're not on the screen.
I know. I just realized that.
We want to see your handsome legs.
Okay.
Dr. Beculus just said you were, what did she say? She said, I hope you're as good an engineer as you are looks, or something like that. I don't know, that wasn't the exact word, but it was something like that.
Thanks.
So, on three, we always blow kisses. Thank you so much, Jim, Judy, and Brooke. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
God bless you all.
que haré. Yo no sé lo que estoy perdiendo. Yo no sé lo que va a pasar. No me puedes escuchar llorar solo sin ti. No me puedes oír llorar. El día que caminaste por la puerta, todas las memorias fueron. Mi corazón está vacío, como si tuviera ayer. No me puedes escuchar llorar solo sin ti. Mi corazón está sufriendo. No me puedes escuchar llorar solo sin ti. No me puedes oír llorar. Usted está en mi sueño toda la noche. Por favor, no peleemos. Y es tan difícil para mí y para ti. Yo, ¿qué puedo hacer? No me puedes escuchar llorar solo sin ti. Mi corazón está sufriendo. No me puedes escuchar llorar solo sin ti. No me puedes oír llorar. No me puedes escuchar llorar solo sin ti. Mi corazón está sufriendo. No me puedes escuchar llorar solo sin ti. No me puedes oír llorar.